Hello everyone, my name is Hilda and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna try something else. As you can see, I have a camera. It's the new Instax Mini Evo and I'm going to try and do a review of this guy. This is a digital analog, which you can tell from the screen, but it's made to look like an ancient camera. Well, a vintage camera, not an ancient camera. I also have the case, which you have to buy separately, and it usually retails for around 22 euros. It's tending to get out of stock really quickly. Do you have to have this case? No, if you can get alternative camera cases, as long as it fits in there, it'll do. The lens, and that's Kiwi, like if you heard scratching, that's Kiwi murdering my bat-shaped mat even further. But yeah, as you can see, it's an open lens. It doesn't close like it did on several other models. So I would advise, if you take it along, to put it in some kind of cover to protect that lens. Yeah, this is really fun. It has a lot of different settings. And I will link the official website down below because you can see all the different combination options, because they've actually done that, combined literally all of them. I have tried filming this before just to check this, and it will not show you properly on screen, so hence the linking to them so you can see all the combos and what exactly is happening. But basically, these settings are normal, vignette, meaning that you get these misty black corners, so to speak. Soft focus, blur, fisheye, color shift, light leak. Now, as for the light leak, you can just switch the lens back to any other setting and you will get another light leak. It will look slightly different. I think they have like 4 or 5 different ones in total. Then you have mirror. I think I can show you that to some degree at least. As you can see, it just, well, makes like some kind of weird mirror double image. Then you have double exposure, meaning you first take a photo and then it will appear kind of like muted and dusty. It's kind of hard to explain, but then you can overlay the next picture and then have like 2 pictures in one. And I will show you an example of that in a bit. But the next one is, and that's the final one, half frame. So you can see you first take one photo and then you take the next one and then you get 2 pictures in one frame, which is super fun. I love half frames. I have an actual analog half frame camera, my Agfa Paramat, and I love that thing. So it's super fun to have half frame on here as well. Then this dial is for the effects. Of course, there's just normal if you just want to go full on normal, but then you can combine with vivid, pale, canvas, monochrome, so just black and white, sepia, which is kind of like black and white, but like brown, yellow, red, blue, and retro. It's all really fun, but I will say you have to do all your settings before you take the photo, because you can't set it again afterwards like with some other cameras. Like for instance, with the SQ series, this is a square one though. You first take the photo and then you can add the filters and such. You can't do that with this. You can, however, still zoom in and stuff, but that's as much as you can change. So there is that. The on and off switch is here. The where you click to actually take the photo, I forgot the name in English, I do apologize, is here, which I feel is kind of not the greatest place ergonomically. I liked it much more like with the SQ10, you had it left and right, which is really neat, especially if you're like left or right-handed. And I believe, yeah, the 90 Neo Classic, this is a full analog one. It has one here and here. So again, this is much more practical and ergonomic. Let me check the Leaflay real quick to see what that has. No, that just has one right here. Again, much better placed. So yeah, placement-wise, I'm not hype about it. It does work, so there's that. I'm just gonna quickly take a photo of Job, who's sleeping right there, and print it for you guys. So you can change your settings right here. You can change you can, let me start at the beginning. First, there's the exposure where you can make your picture lighter or darker. It probably doesn't show. Then you have a timer setting for 10 seconds or 2 seconds, which is well, basically a self timer if you want to take selfies with it. It also has a spot to put it onto a tripod, which is great. Then you have 3 flash settings. You have it on suppressed, meaning no flash, which is what I usually have it on. Then you have forced flash, which I would not recommend because forced flash is this ridiculously bright, you know, overlights everything kind of flash. It is the flash that came standard with all the predecessors. And then you have auto flash. Auto flash, if you are going to use the flash, put it on auto flash, because auto flash in this case is a slow synchro flash. I don't know exactly what slow synchro is, but it is a flash option on this guy. And it is great because it actually lights your subject without overlighting your subject, which is super important. And I actually have a photo. This is with a light leak effect and the automatic flash, the slow synchro. And this was taken late at night, all the curtains closed, just the standard house lights of Salem, who was seeing what he could steal on the coffee table. So yeah, just to prove that it's a good flash. Then next to that, you have the macro setting, which you can turn off or on. I have it currently off. And then you have the white balance and you get sun, well, automatic, sun, cloudy, and then you have 4 indoors lighting settings. Now, I would advise not to keep it on auto because auto is not your friend. And I would definitely, you know, look through all of those and your, I forget the names in English, your exposure, just to see that your photo is properly lighted. Because, you know, you do get a digital copy, so you will see it before you print it, which is great. So if it's rubbish, you don't actually have to print it. But now, for Job. Job, do you want to look up? Jobje? Do you want to look cute? It is a very annoyed Job. I don't know if you can see properly, probably not. You can, of course, look through the pictures you have taken. So yeah, this is Job. It's actually, what you see here is because of the camera, not the exact light. Now I will print it. And printing is pretty cool because you just do this. Like an old camera. And then it will say, preparing to print, please wait a moment. You can still cancel your print at this point. So if you change your mind, now I can't anymore, but he's just getting ready a bit more. And then the print comes out on the top, just like every other instax. And there you go, and now we wait. And this is just normal lens, no effects. Yeah. Now, as it comes to digital storage, you can either just have them on your camera. I'm not sure how many photos you can store. I'm sure the Instax page, which I have linked to in the description, will know. But you can store loads and loads and loads if you insert a micro SD. I would advise you do so. First of all, what you need to know is if you have pictures on the camera, you cannot transfer them to a micro SD. At least I have not found out how. If you do know how, please leave it in the description, in the comments down below. Not in the description, in the comments. Furthermore, you cannot access the pictures in your camera, on your camera storage, when you have a micro SD in there. So that's also something you should know. You can also not transfer them to your phone or tablet, whatever device you have the app installed on, if you haven't printed them. So if you want to get the digital copies from photos that are on your camera and not on a micro SD card, you will have to first print them, which is also not the best. Now I will say you can fully use this camera without the app, especially if you have an SD card, because if you have an SD card, you get a digital copy. You can just take the card out, put it in an adapter or whatever you use to transfer to your phone or to your PC, and then you will have a digital copy. Now, these cameras are made to look like sort of analog, but I feel like a lot of the digital copies come out more of like digital toy cameras or like just old digital cameras with not the greatest amount of pixels, so to speak. So this one has like double the amount as the other, like the SQs and well, the digital hybrid ones and the Replay. So it has better quality photos. But I do feel like that other than changing the contrast on them, maybe they're just better left untouched and maybe just resized. It's not fully developed yet, but at least you have an idea of the picture of Job I just took. Now I have distracted myself with cute Job. Anyway, like I was saying, it isn't to your advantage to just shove a micro SD card in there immediately, because it will give you full access to all digital copies of your photos without ever needing to touch the app, which is just great in itself. Because, and I will insert pictures in a bit when we come to the photos I have taken, so I can show you some examples. If you use the app to transfer a picture, you get it with a frame around it, and you don't have to use one of the frames that they provide for you. You can also make your own by providing the app an image, so to speak. But that said, the format isn't enormous to start with. It's better than the SQ10, which is not 2000 versus 2000. So it is square, but not great amount of pixels. This is slightly better, but if you crop off the frame they put around your photo, you're not left with a big image to start with. So the app has its flaws. However, the app will also turn this into a printer, just like with the Replay, meaning that if you have taken a photo on your phone and you have your instax with you, or just a photo on your DSLR and you really like it and you want an instax mini version of it, you can put the photo on the device you have the app on and print it via this. So this functions as a camera and an instax printer. I have not used it as an instax printer, so I'm just assuming it works. I have used the Replay as an instax printer a few times and that worked fine. I will say Replay versus Evo. I mean, this is a first generation Replay. I don't know what the current ones are like, but this guy, it was often to get this to connect to the app was often a nightmare and a half. It could take up to 10 minutes, no joke, because there was like the camera and the tablet couldn't find each other, and I tried even on my phone, it was the same story. The Bluetooth connectivity was pretty lackluster. This guy, it connects really quickly. I think that the longest a connection has ever taken was a minute, so that's great. Sometimes they're just kind of like iffy, and then you have to delete the pairing in this guy and just reconnect them together again, and it goes really quickly. It can be like, you may have to turn off your Bluetooth, and it can be a bit fiddly, but it still goes really fast. So I'm glad that they made it better with this. It's not perfect, but at least it's better. So yeah, what else can I say about this? The design is fun. It's a good camera. I really enjoy using this. Is it my favorite out of my digital analog Instax cameras, my hybrid ones? I call them digital analogs. Yes and no. When it comes, because there's only 2 different models for the Mini, as far as I know. When it comes to the Mini, I like this better to photograph with, for sure, than I like the Liplay. I will say that. Now, I kind of feel like this is oranges and blood oranges, so to speak. Or sour apples and sweet apples, whatever. But yeah, because this is a different kind of camera than this guy is. This guy is more like photos, actual photos, whereas this is more for the funsies. This guy comes with a setting that allows you to print a QR code on a photo, and the QR code will lead to a voice recorded message that you record with the camera. Like, you could, a bunch of friends, you could get together, take a selfie, and like put happy birthday or like a birthday song. I don't know how long it is, so you may want to sing quickly. But yeah, you could put a message on there and print it and include it with a birthday card for a friend that is having their birthday, and then they can scan the QR code and hear you sing, something like that. It also has different frame options. I know that it has like Christmas antlers and leaves and whatnot. I haven't used it in a bit, so, and it is not charged, I will admit. Yeah, that is USB charged. This is USB charged. This guy is also USB charged. This is so ancient. I think this is a model from 2007, 2008. It comes in old Japanese, because at that point you had to buy them off eBay from Japan, as well as the cartridges. But this eats actual batteries, and this comes with a charger. So it's all like kind of different. But yeah, the cable is provided, so you can just plug it in your computer, or, you know, your wall socket transfer thingamajig. Everybody has them these days, so you know what I mean. That aside, it's a fun camera. I love it. I really enjoy it. Is it my favorite? It's kind of tied up between these guys. I mean, I have a soft spot for the square format, so I really enjoy that you can still put filters over and on after you've taken the photo. I feel like this is a little bit more faffing about, but this actually makes you think about settings, which I do enjoy. And the Instax 90 does as well, but this is still a fully analog camera, so if you get it wrong, you have lost the shot, so to speak. Whereas here, if you get it wrong, you can see it and just discard it or erase it. That's the same thing. But yeah, you can just like move on and you've not lost an actual print. So in that regard, it's kind of like what you want out of the Instax anyway. I will say, however, if you just want to print photos that you have taken, be it with a camera, with your phone, as long as you have a smartphone or a tablet, because you can put apps that, you know, the Instax apps on either. You don't need an Instax camera. You don't need either this or the Liplay. You don't need those. You know why? Because Instax has printers. They have, I don't know if they have square format printers, because I don't own a printer, because I have 2 Instax Minis that function as printers. So just buying an extra printer is a waste of money, unless it would be the wide, of course, because I don't have a wide camera. But yeah, I'm just saying, if you don't want to take actual Instax camera photos, but you still want Instax, just buy a printer, install the app, and print that way. If you have one of the Instax cameras, the Leplay or the Evo, I would go for the Evo because the Evo's printer settings are way easier to use than the Leplays. But yeah, then you have your Instax printer right there. Like I said before, it goes on mini film. It just opens here. At first, it's really stuck, so please be careful when you open it so you don't wreck it. It does open easier after you've done it a few times, but I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't want to expose and ruin my film, because I still have like 8 frames on it, I think, on this cartridge. So there's that. I think this is a really good camera. I mean, yes, it's not perfect. Of course, digital analog is not for everyone, but like I said before, if you just want all the settings and you want to go full analog, there's the Instax 90. Well, no, what is it called? Instax Mini 90 Neo Classic. Comes in brown as well, by the way. So you have this option. Good stuff. It's a really good camera. I used to use it all the time before I switched to the digital analogs. But yeah, and actually I don't really switch to preserve film. That said, if you want to see actual camera comparisons, I would advise looking at the YouTube of the Photography Concentrate. I'm not sure if they have done an Evo review or not, but I know for a fact that they have done past camera reviews, Instax reviews, and they often compare them to older models, but like really in depth, and they are professional photographers. So I think it would be a really good idea if you want to get an Instax camera, but you're not sure you want the proper shell out on this guy, because this guy is the most expensive one, and then you need a case for it. Not necessarily the actual Evo case, but just like a case. Like my Leplay lives in this, and it's fine, just saying. And it has come along many times, and it is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. As you can see, 0 damage. This camera works fine. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to have like a fancy case, but just a good one that will protect it. I would probably advise to have a better case than this, just because you might move it if it's accidentally still on. It might start printing and shenanigans. But that aside, you also need a micro SD card. It does come with a charger cable and a strap, but that's pretty much all that's included. So you are looking at quite a bit of money. I think about 250 if you have the camera, the actual cover, and the micro SD, and then you still haven't bought film. And you do want film in your Instax, because otherwise you might just take photos with something else, you know? It's not like there are no free editing apps available. There are loads. But yeah, I like it. So let's talk about actual photos now. Be warned, cat pictures ahead. So this is the first picture I took, and I just really wanted to try it. This was from before I had an SD card, so this is my only digital copy. I only have a, app transfer, so to speak, so that's the only digital copy I have. Same story with this photo of Salem you saw earlier. I have this, which has also been taken late at night with just standard house lighting, which is why it's so dark, no flash, all normal settings. And next is the digital copy. The actual digital copy. Another double exposure of Joop and their jack-o'-lantern cat house. this is a full-on normal photo, other than that is 2 selfies in the split frame setting. So yeah, it's not fully normal, I suppose, because it's split frame, but you know what I mean. And this is overlighted because I forgot to properly set the exposure, because I'm a doofus. I will also say that I feel like the manual that comes with the camera does not properly explain it. I don't know if there is a proper PDF available, but I would really advise sitting down with that camera and really looking through buttons and look at reviews, because I might have missed something that somebody else hasn't, but look at reviews. If you don't find this comprehensive enough, look up another one. Also, feel free to ask me questions in the comment section about the camera or any of the others I have showed you, and I will do my best to answer them. Maybe don't ask me questions about these kinds of cameras, because the most recent one I have of the standard point and shoot is, like I said, very old. Next photo is also a double exposure picture, and it is my vampire cookie jar, my creepy vampire, and Job with a plastic monstera plant. I feel like this is proper modern art. Then, this is the only one I have printed, but I will include several of the digital copies, and I will note on screen what effect setting it has, you know, I've used on top of just the normal, so to speak, photo lens option. So yeah, this is the retro film effect, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I really like this. I love how this came out, and I was so surprised because it was pretty late. It had already gone dark outside, not full on dark, but dark enough to close the curtains. And this is still what I got out of it with that effect. So I'm really impressed. This is the darkest lighting setting you can have, which I did on purpose, because I wanted the skull of Mr. Pettibone to really come true. I don't have a digital copy of this, but just to show you how well it prints really dark photos. And then of course the picture of Job that I took earlier this review. Look at the cutie, and he's still sleeping there, by the way. So yeah, these are all the photos I have taken with my Instax. Well, with the Instax Evo, I have taken many Instax photos in my life. So yeah, to conclude, because I feel like I'm going to start waffling more than I already have any second now, I really enjoy the Instax Evo, but like I said, there are so many alternatives, and I hope that I was at least able to give some information about this camera specifically. If you want to see reviews of the Instax 90 or the Liplay, let me know in the comments down below, and because I can do that. The SQ10 is no longer available. It's now the SQ20, which I do not own, and this guy is so ancient, and I feel like there's not much I can say about the current models, other than if you just want to point and shoot Instax, good stuff. Otherwise, just pay more for a better one. But we're talking about this guy. Would recommend. It's a really good camera. It's a really fun camera. Again, if you just want to print Instax photos, buy an Instax printer. If you just want to print photos from your phone or your tablet, and you don't necessarily are set on instax, I would Google for alternatives. I know Canon does some that are really popular, but I don't really know anything about them. Again, your preferred search engine will. I hope I have been able to answer some questions you might have had. Again, if I haven't and you still have questions about the Evo, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will do my utmost to get back to you as fast as possible and answer them. If you want to see actual camera comparisons, again, the photography concentrate is probably the best place to go. Yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't bungle this too badly, because again, I have never done a camera review before. And I'm not a professional photographer, so there's that. That's something to bear in mind, because all the settings, not an expert. I do my best, like most people. So yeah, that was it for this video. Leave a comment down below. Do you own an Instax camera? If so, which one? Do you like instant photography? Or if you just want to leave a comment, go ahead. But if you do leave a comment, please be kind. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more of my randomness on the tube. Hit the notification bell, because apparently it might actually tell you when I upload, as I have no set upload schedule. Or follow me on Instagram. I am Steam and Kittens. I will have the name on screen, because I will for sure put in my stories and sometimes in my grid as well, but for sure in my stories when I have uploaded a new video, so that way you will not miss out if you want to see more in the future. But yeah, that was it. I might just go and scrapbook with the pictures I have taken, because now I can, as I have filmed this. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!